Here we are today with Phil Keaggy. Thank you today for sitting down and chatting with us for a little bit.
Thanks, Elliot.
Really appreciate
Good
it.
to be here with you.
You've played in front of tons of different venues and stuff like that. Juxtaposed, large versus small intimate venues like this. What do you prefer about each one? What's good, what's bad?
Yesterday, I played up on a mountain at Gunstock for the Soul Fest. And I was on the porch of a cabin, and there were probably 100 people on the ground sitting there, and we were a few thousand feet up in the air. But the crowd was great, the PA was great, I felt really good, and felt really creative, and there was a lot of joy. So there you are on top of a mountain where you don't expect to have great sound, and it happens. These guys were terrific. And then I played in a very hot building last night that had a lot of fans roaring, and I don't mean human fans. But it went good. I had a little help from my friends, came up and played music with me.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
And when you're in that kind of a situation, everybody loves a jam, And so
I was wondering about the connection with the audience. Sometimes there's so many people out there. How do you connect? And then you get this small thing, and then you can actually feel the audience different.
You really can. Well, last March, I played here with Jerry Marotta and Tony Levin and Mike Bocelli. And we did songs from the bucket list, and what a great time we had. Smiles. So many people were just smiling. The whole crowd seemed to be smiling. We all had a great time. It was real celebratory. And we were celebrating music and celebrating the joy of fellowship together. But going back to your initial question about the different kinds of venues. I've been at festivals, but I think festivals, for me, work best if I have a band. So I like smaller, intimate rooms for acoustic concerts.
Okay. Yeah.
Where the room itself is part of the sound that you create, rather than it escaping into the wind.
You're just absolutely amazing at this looping thing, all right? How did you start getting into this? How did you evolve to getting into this thing about layering and how your brain sort of works on that on a daily basis now?
Well, in some ways, I wish I wasn't the looper dude,
Oh, really?
Yeah, because my favorite guitar players don't do that.
Okay.
It's really an
you make yourself a
interesting
band though when you're all alone, so it's kind of.
I have to make more noise for myself. I feel justified because I have 9 fingers. So I have my limitations.
You need some help. Okay.
Yeah, I do. When I was a little kid, I remember being in the 7th grade. And I used to go to this electronic shop when we lived in California. We're from Ohio. And the guys that worked at the electronic shop, it was called Park Electronics. I'd bring my electric guitar and they'd let me plug into their tape recorders, and they had sound on sound. And I would put down a rhythm, then I'd put down a lead, and I'd play along with what I'd pre-recorded as a kid. So I got into, putting down a pattern and playing along with it, harmonizing, finding complementary chords, that go with those chords, different positions, different places on the fretboard. And they got a kick out of that, and so did I. So when I got my first sound on sound tape recorder in the 8th or 9th grade, I started doing that at home.
This has been your gig from the beginning then. That's really, so you've always been thinking that way. That's very fascinating. Mm-hmm. Well, not many people get sound on sound recorders when they're young, so.
No.
But you were thinking, and you were naturally easy, it was an easy environment for you, it sounds.
Yeah, and it was good because my sister Kathy worked at Western Auto, which is a store that sold appliances and all kinds of things, and electronics. And so she got me my first tape recorder with the green eye that went doo, 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 And then I got myself a Roberts sound on sound recorder in the 9th grade, and I still have those recordings.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's.
I sound very green, very young, but that's where I learned how to do it. I even learned how to do backwards stuff.
Talk to me about that. You hear it in your head, or you just accidentally do it? What happens?
Okay. Well, when I was in a band called the Squires in the 8th and 9th grade, we had a song called "Star in the Sky," and so one day my Roberts, I could hit a button, and it would. The reels are going one direction,
and then
they go backwards, and it's playing that track. So I decided to write a song in that direction, and I actually kept it around and rewrote the words to it. It was originally called All My Wishes, and then it became All Our Wishes. And it's on my album called Blue,
Nice.
Which was put out in '93 or so. You can hear it, it's a song about my wife and I, our story of losing our child, and that happened actually a few times. But we're okay. We've got 3 grown children and
That's nice.
and our first grandchild on the way.
Oh, congratulations.
Next month,
Oh, that's so sweet.
So we're pretty blessed. And so I've been doing that sort of thing for years and years. And then Chet Atkins himself introduced me to his looping machine called the Jam Man. And last night, when I played up at the Soul Fest, a fella by the name of Ken Ing, I think his last name, Asian fella, he actually worked for Lexicon that designed the Jam Man.
Wow.
And so he said, "You're still using it?" I said, "Yeah, I'm still using it." And he was really happy to see me still using the thing he invented.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and so I try to, I put down a part and then I put down a part with it, or create a kind of a jam thing where there's a little percussion, bass, rhythm, leads over it and stuff like that. And sometimes I create on the spot, and that's kind of an interesting thing to do.
Well, it all appears to me to be all improv. I don't know why, but it seems that way.
It has to be, because you can mess up. So
That was my next question. Okay.
It's like I'm not coming to do a concert with perfect tracks laid down at home.
Right.
So I'm taking a chance. Playtime. Oh no. That's pretty anemic, isn't it?
I'm not a guitarist. I can play drums, but just the idea of you making sure everything is, I know it gets quantized, but you're always hitting correctly. I mean, do you have to re-record on the fly to go, oh yeah, I didn't quite catch in the beginning?
I clear it really quickly.
Okay.
Otherwise,
It's
it'll come back around to
too
remind
fast,
you.
right? Yeah.
Whoops. Sometimes it's comical, and it actually works.
Oh, that's funny.
One time I was doing a thing at a concert, and it was being recorded, and my capo came off the string, off the B string. And so when I went to hit it, it was this off note, like a flat 5. And it sounded Indian, so I went into a, kind of a thing, and I just went with it. And I think it's available on my website. If you go to Keaggy's Garage, it was called Nellies Tune Live.
Okay.
And I love the way it turned out. It was all a mistake that turned into a really cool thing. The audience started laughing, and we all had a good time.
That's good. That's good, because it's not supposed to be, I, as an audience member, you like to see them human, the performers, right? It just feels like you're closer to them. You're one of us.
And that's the thing I have to keep in mind. These people, they're not looking for me to be perfect. And I got to keep that in mind, because I'll never be perfect as a player or a singer, definitely. And but they're there for you if they're your friend. They're rooting for you. Quite suddenly, the turning of a lane, where I stand to watch the skylark soar from out of the swelling grain, that the trump of God shall thrill me with its call so loud and clear, and I'm called away to meet him, whom of all I hold most dear. If they see you struggle, they're actually struggling with you. It's just being good to each other is what it comes down to. So I'm on stage and I'm booked to be the entertainment or the performer, or hopefully the bearer of good news, which I always try to be as well, with the gospel. But then you just try to make a connection with the audience, because they're there for you. They came to see you, to support you. And that means, in this case, me. So I'm very grateful for that. My wife travels with me for the last 5 years now.
That's nice.
And she's so supportive. and we have to do this together, And I'm 68. It would be a lot easier not to go on the road and wear myself out. I played and sang twice yesterday and twice the day before, and traveled all day the day before, and so I'm a bit weary. And but here's the thing that happens, when the Holy Spirit comes upon me, He energizes me with joy and adequacy and a capability of some sort. It's not all just for my own efforts or energy. So I'm grateful for that.
How do you think your music inspires others?
Sometimes the lyrics speak to the heart, and I'm not a great lyricist, but I've had help over the years with collaborators and poetry and the Psalms and what have you.
Yep.
Books, great authors who have inspired me. And then instrumental music itself has a way of touching the soul, and I believe in that. I believe in the power of music. I believe in the power of melody.
Why do you think music is so important to people?
I think it's because it's in our DNA, in our memory. It takes us back to a special time sometimes in our lives. In some cases, unfortunately, a sad time in some people's lives too. It's not the song. A song never healed anyone, but maybe a song could be used by God to help heal someone. I did an album a few years ago called All at Once, and that title song, written by Gordon Kennedy and I think Ben Cooper, is all about God healing the heart. So there is power in music. There's also, I think, some people use music to get their angst out, and that appeals to people who have the same kind of drive or so, I personally like music that touches the soul, that's a little bit more on the gentle side, even though I've done some rock and roll in my life,
You rock pretty good.
I've had my days.
Yeah.
I've got a new album out with a friend named Rex Paul. It's called Illumination.
Nice.
And it rocks pretty good.
Oh, good.
He produced me, and he really helped me to sing well.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought the stuff with Levin and Murata that kicked, so that was pretty good too.
And those were just jams, except for a couple we really worked out, like Steely Funk and Sometimes.
Times 11, yeah.
And those guys are just such a pleasure to listen to.
Oh, yeah. I mean, great musicians.
I often listen to that album just so I could hear Jerry.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and Tony play the bass, because I know what I've done.
Yeah.
But I always get surprised when I hear these things.
Jerry's so
they
subtle.
do.
He's so good. He's a joy to listen to.
He's called the king of the offbeat.
Yes.
And he uses mallets where you don't expect.
Yep.
And it sounds just incredible. And he uses more than the typical kinds of
Yep.
drums.
Yep.
He's very creative that way. And of course, Tony is too, playing
Oh my God.
upright bass, Chapman stick, regular bass, fretless bass, his extended
Yes.
finger
Oh, his fingers.
bass.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I do some bass on albums, and he's a huge influence on me.
Oh, nice.
You know, just in terms of fullness and getting good tones and stuff like that.
There was another guitarist that you played with that night, or who was with you that night, with the Levin and Murata band.
Yeah, that's Mike Pacelli. Mike Pacelli, I've known since the late 60s, 67, 68 we met. And we've been friends ever since. And we did an album a number of years ago called The Two of Us, which is really a fun acoustic album. And he's hired me to play on other people's music, and he mixed an album I did with Randy Stonehill, Mystery Highway. He's just super talented, and he plays a great variety of styles. But his last two albums, he's emphasizing his jazz work. But the newest album he's got out now, called High Standards, they're all standards about smiley songs, you know, Whistle While You Work, you know, When You Smile, and songs like that. And Tony played bass on the album.
Nice.
And Dan Gottlieb from Pat Metheny Group played drums.
Oh, very nice.
And it's the three of them. And I just want to give a plug for that album because he's playing stuff I can't fathom how he does it.
He's very good.
He's playing his Gibson L5 into a Princeton. reverb, and that's it.
What was the song that he sang that night? The song that
Gonna reap what you sow.
Yes, great song.
People like that,
What
yeah.
a great soulful song.
Yeah,
Just right,
yeah.
Just
I say it's alright. You sound great. Sun, 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 here it comes. Sun, 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 here it comes. Harmony. Sun, 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 here it comes. Sun, 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 here it comes. Little darling, I see the ice is slowly melting.
one of our, I know, favorite people or bands that you love, the Beatles. I know you do a lot of covers from them and stuff like that. But you had the chance to meet and jam with Paul McCartney.
Yeah, it was. Well, his wife, Linda, God rest her,
Yes.
very nice lady. I really, Bern and I both enjoyed meeting her and Paul. And of course, her sister Laura asked me to sing in her wedding.
Sweet.
I was the only music in the wedding. I sang 3 songs and did an instrumental. We worked out the dates, we worked out the songs, you know. This was going to be September 90. And then after we got all those things worked out, she said, oh, by the way, the McCartney family is all in the wedding party. And I was like, well, thanks for telling me that. You know, I've
No
got to
pressure.
you know, I mean, I couldn't do it today. I know I just couldn't do it, but, you know, I was still, I was 39 at the time. And so I was always taking more chances when I was younger anyway.
Okay.
But, yeah, so the night before a rehearsal, I made sure the sound will be okay. And then the rehearsal dinner, that's where we met Paul and Linda and their children. And it was kind of surreal. And we got to talk a little bit. And when we met Linda, she said, oh, yes, I think we have your music in our house. Because Laura would send the CD.
Oh, sure. Yeah. You got to love this guy.
He's
Yeah.
my friend.
Yeah.
You might want to listen. And so I played a few of my songs. Before the night before, Paul says, now tomorrow, just have fun with it and be of good voice. You know, he's giving me
Advice.
the encouragement.
Yes.
You can do this. I said, okay, thanks a lot. And his father-in-law at the time said to me after the wedding, he says, son, you stick with it. I think you can go someplace. I said, thanks. And so anyway, what happened was, the reason why we got to pick around a little bit for about 20 minutes was because my friend Jim Olson, who made my guitar, he had a left-handed Olson that was ordered, but the guy couldn't pay for it. And when I told him, I said, I'm going to be in this wedding, and Paul is going to be there.
He said here.
He said, would you mind giving this to him? It really means a lot to me. So I did. I had to go through the whole protocol thing, you know.
You can't just walk up to him.
No, get cleared with the brother, get cleared with the father-in-law, the wife, you know, everything. And so a little private meeting was set up, and Linda said, Paul, Phil's got something he'd like to give to you. And I gave him the story. And Bern took some pictures. And he was delighted with it. I've never seen him with it anywhere. He probably left it there. So when he visits the family...
He'll have a guitar.
Yeah, probably.
What did you wind up doing on the guitar with him, though?
Nothing of mine. He wouldn't know my songs, but I knew some of his.
I bet you did, yes. Yeah.
So we did Put It There from The
Okay.
Flowers in the Dirt. And we did Carrie, I'm Carrying from London Town. Obscure songs. you know.
Yes.
I did a little 12-bar shuffle.
Nice.
He played, I think, a little bit of Blackbird, which was pretty cool. It lasted about 20 minutes, and then we were called to reception dinner.
Hold on.
And that was it. And he actually said, I wish we could, you know, do this longer because he was warming up,
Oh, right, yeah.
He didn't really want to sing, and I didn't want to force him. But I did invite him. I said, "You want to sing? This is your song." So that was fun. And a year later, because I had pictures made I gave to friends,
Sure, yeah.
name dropper.
Of course.
It was really exciting because, he was such a hero. And these friends who had a picture, they went to England, and they did the whole Liverpool tour.
Sure, yeah.
Then they went to London, and they waited outside of Soho Square there at his offices, MPL. And just in case he might walk out, and sure enough, within a couple hours, he and Linda walk out. And so they run up to them and say, "Would you sign this?" And he goes, "Where'd you get that?" And this is what they told me, my friends. They said, "Do you know who that is?" And he said, "That's Phil." And then Linda said, "He plays lovely guitar." So that was a real compliment from
How sweet.
yeah.
So going forward, where do you see yourself? You talked about being a little tired of touring and stuff like that, but you seem to love it and you go around. But so, what are your plans for the future?
I do enjoy people, and I do enjoy music. I'd love to be able to just produce and stay home and make music without going on the road, personally. Can't do that yet. We still have bills.
Bills to pay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, I've always kind of seen myself as a blue collar, by the sweat of my brow.
Banging out a living.
To make a living. I'm knocking out a living, because I never really had hit records. It's true. And it's okay. I've just never was gifted that way to write that kind of music. It's been a thrill to be a guitarist for other people on their sessions.
Nice.
It brings new things out of me. And so most of the work I've been doing lately has been collaboration, most of the time. Rex Paul, Jeff Johnson. We did 3 albums together. Our last one's called Cappadocia. It's just beautiful, the way we were able to create through cyberspace,
Yes.
He's up in Washington State, I'm in Tennessee, and we just share files, and then he mixes it, and there it is.
So the stuff with Levin and Marauder, was that you guys got together and jammed that out? You didn't? Okay.
In Woodstock.
Okay. Jerry's studio.
Jerry's studio. And then it sat in a hard drive for 8 years.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Yeah. We didn't work on it over those years at all. In fact, I forgot about it.
So who did the nudging to bring you back?
Paul
Okay.
Grimslin was here for tonight. He said, "What do you think? We got to get this thing going, let's finish it up." And I said, "Well, you might have to come down, kind of like make sure I do my job, because I needed the motivation." Okay. First of all, the tunes had to be edited.
Sure.
Because some of the jams were like long jams. And so...
To find a song out of that.
Yeah, so he helped me edit it. And then I did my lead parts and stuff.
But everything was digital. It was like in Pro Tools or something. So, all right,
it was all Pro Tools.
All right, so I've taken a lot of your time. This has been tremendous.
Yeah.
Really, really appreciate it.
Really different kind of an interview, huh?
Oh, well, that's the way I sort of try to make it roll. I try to get into places where normal people go, give you a chance to highlight some things, and hopefully you've enjoyed the time.
I have, one of the things I wanted to mention is I'm really grateful to friends over all these decades who've supported me to keep me going, and so I could keep doing music. I really want to say thank you to all my friends out there who have supported me in my music and given me the opportunity to create and be creative. And I know that because of my faith, in some cases, it's not really popular to be noted as a player when you're somewhat evangelistic too, at the same time wanting to just share the good news with people. I've never been one to want to shove anything down anyone's throats. I always believe, be salt of the earth, let your light shine, love one another, and like the Bible says, they recognize these people as having been with Jesus. The closer you walk with Jesus, the more like him you can become. And but I'm also really excited that in Christ there's so much freedom, true freedom, to be creative. and just, you know, see some of your dreams come true. To be able to plug in and make some sounds that are fun to do, and see where it takes you. And I've made a lot of music over almost 6 decades, you know, since, maybe it's 5. I never was that good at math.
That's okay.
But
you're good at that. So.
I can count to 4.
That's good. That's good. Actually, you can count to 11 and 7 sevens.
Yes.
You got all those other things too. Phil, thank you so much. This was a real pleasure. Really, a real honor to get to know you a little bit more and explore some things. I really appreciate your patience.
Thanks, Elliot.
Thanks again, and good luck tonight at the concert.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you very much, Elliot.
All right. Take care.